why God would allow that to happen to my mother. Her life affected me more as I grew up after she was dead. With the tears running down my eyes, wishing that you were here.
Welcome to Beyond the Sugarcoat. Hey, Sugar fam.
When you're 14, you're just beginning to understand the world. And then sometimes life throws something at you that you just can't fully recover from. What's it like to grieve at 14? What does healing look like as an older person? And how does a daughter carry her mother's memory alive through the decades? Today we find that out from my aunt, Titi Marianne. Hi, Titi Marianne.
Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for having me. This is a great forum to get the story out about our family and what has happened over the years.
Can you start with what some memories are that you remember of your mother before we talk about what happened?
Sure. My mother was one of 12 children. Your grandmothers, your aunts, all of them. She was a part of this big, amazing family. She married my father, had 4 children, and we were living in South Florida, Miami, Florida. She was an amazing, loving, kind woman who loved her children, loved her Catholic church, loved her life, and loved to dance and sing as well.
Wow. So can you bring me back to the day of when this happened?
Yeah, so life as we knew it was like all of yours, like, happy, doing our own thing. I'm coming home from school. I'm 14 years old, getting off of a school bus, walking home with my girlfriend, Kathy. We come to my home. There's a stranger in our yard. I approached the stranger carefully, of course, and asked him if I could help him. Like, are you lost? What can I, what's going on? And he asked for my mother. So I said, well, hold on, I'll go get her. So I went in I came inside my home and went and asked, and my sister was there, and I asked where Mom was, and she was over in the bathroom. She was bathing. And I asked her if she, I told her, I said, there's someone here looking for you. And she says, I'm not expecting anybody. Don't let anybody in. And of course, I knew that. So I come back down the hallway, and this person that was out in my front yard is now in my living room. And my sister was in the living room as well. And she's like looking at me like, who's this sitting in here? And I told her, Mommy's not expecting anybody. And she asked me to get her clothes, which were in her bedroom. So my sister followed me into my mother's bedroom to get her clothes and things, because we had a split plan home and she was on the other side of the house. And Linda came with me and we got it. And then we heard some noise, and I've got my mother's clothes to bring to her. And we see that this person had gotten up and had gone into the other side of our home, into the bathroom where my mother was bathing. And there was a struggle. There was a fight. He had a knife, and he totally hurt her badly, and he killed her. He murdered her in cold blood. And my sister and I had come running down and had seen all of this, and he comes running down the hall and out our front door. It was something out of a nightmare. It was something that you couldn't even believe that just happened.
This happened in front of you and your sister, this event, the actual occurrence you witnessed.
We did. We came out and we saw the doors open, and we saw the struggle, and he had hurt my mother. He had a knife, an old-fashioned barber razor, and he had it to her throat, and we saw everything that happened. And my mother then falls to the ground, and he comes running out and out our front door. It was just something unbelievable, something out of a nightmare. But your brain, what my brain did at that time was totally white everything out. I did not see all of that happen. I blacked it out. It was the most unusual thing to protect myself. What I did though next was I went and covered my mother in a towel because she was on the floor and she was out of the tub, and I covered her with a towel because I didn't like that she wasn't dressed. I then went and called I called the operator to get an ambulance, and I called my father at work, and then called my grandparents, and then went to find my sister Linda. And my sister Linda was out. I went out the door because she went out the door and said, "Which way did he go?" And we saw friends of ours. She says, Chuck, two of our friends were there, and she sent them after him, two guys. And those boys caught him. And
Wow.
yes, and they, by the good grace of God, there was an officer that was off duty coming down the street, and they flagged him down, and he was covered in my mother's blood, and he had scratches on her face from my mother.
Wow.
And the police officer believed everything, put him in the car, and brought him back to our home. He had him cuffed and in the back of the police car.
He brought him to your home?
Back to our home, because at this point the officer didn't know of the crime. I mean, he hadn't seen the crime.
Right.
And the two boys that caught him didn't know much of anything other than my sister had told them to go get him because he's hurt my mother.
Sounds like everyone was on automatic pilot.
We sure were. It was a nightmare. My sister was only 15. I was 14. And the feeling of all of that is so surreal, because when you're involved in something that tragic, that devastating, you're still in a state of denial or airheadedness. You're really going, is this real? Am I living a dream right now? I'm not sure. Reality is not in focus right then.
Yeah, I can totally relate to understanding what that feels like. So this happens in front of your mom. I'm not going to ask you all the details, like what happened to him or anything, but I just want to know, what is in your head? How are you grieving as a 14-year-old? What emotions are you feeling? How long does it take you to go through all of this? How does it affect you with your relationship with your sisters, your dad, the world around you?
That's a real good question. The good thing, let's talk about the good things that happened.
Okay.
All of your aunts came. Everybody was on airplanes, and everybody's flying in, and all the family came in and rallied around us, and that was beautiful.
That's the good thing about this family. The minute something happens, everyone's on a plane, no questions asked.
And so they were all in within 24 hours. My father grabbed us all. I remember all of us girls sleeping together that night, staying close to each other. I remember my father, I wanted to be next to him the whole time and didn't want to leave his side. And we really rallied together as a family. My dad was with us, and all the aunts and the cousins and everybody. It was really that part. I feel the love to this day. Our aunt in Nevada still, talks about that day, even though it was it was in 1969. So it's been 50-something, 60 years, ago that this happened. And then as the years went on, my father remarried shortly after my mother passed, which was devastating to us, because we were hoping that the family unit would continue, because my mother held us together so closely as a family unit. And the woman that my father married made it clear to us girls that she did not marry my father to become a mother to 3 girls. So that became another challenge, in addition to 3 grieving young girls growing up, trying to figure out how to maneuver life. And here we are having supposed to be a figure in our home to care for us, not really wanting anything to do with us.
Wow. How are you feeling? What can you describe some emotions?
Then or now, telling the story.
Then at 14, and actually that's really good. And then later now, but how did you feel? What emotions were you having at 14?
Well, speaking to you right now, it's conjuring up like, whoa, where do these feelings? They're so sad and sick feelings. And That's what was going on. It was that sick, ick feeling of loneliness, abandonment, just so sad.
Did you feel guilt at that time? Maybe you could have done all the what ifs that we talk about in
Oh,
life when
yeah.
we go through stuff. Did you have what ifs?
No, actually, that never entered our mind. No guilt about that day. No, none of it, because we can't control what other people do. And we had no control over this person or his motives or whatever it was to hurt my mother and to kill her. But one of the things that did come from this, though, is that the priest at our church had said to me, because he was speaking to all of us, but me particularly, I had asked him why God would allow that to happen to my mother. She was such a good person, and my mother had our family involved in a lot of outreach programs. And when I'm speaking to the priest, I'm asking him, how could God take my mother from us, especially in this violent way? This wasn't fair. And I was pretty mad. I was angry. I was devastated. I was just devastated. And you just wanted to crawl into a hole because it was just so awful. But the priest painted a picture for this innocent 14-year-old girl. And he said that my mother God knew that he was going to take her. And he knew the moment he was going to, and he knew that this guy was going to do this. And he was just around my mother, and he said that God had his hands out, and he showed me that his hands were out, and that my mother was surrounded by all her angels, and that before she hit the ground, God already had her in his arms and taking her. And that my mother didn't feel any of the pain or the sadness or the anguish or the horrific experience that she went through. And then he said the coolest thing, that the reason he took her now is that there are lessons for all of us to have in life. The lessons that we learned from my mother, the lessons of her life, and the lessons of her death. And that I was to grow up without a mother, and that hopefully the lessons that she had taught me up until the age of 14 sank in. And they did. Because her life affected me more as I grew up after she was dead than it did when I was 14 and she was alive. I was always concerned from that point on about my mother seeing any bad choices that I would make or would try to make. And then a lot of times I thought, I better not do that. My mother's going to see this and I'd be ashamed if she knew that I was doing this. And so that sort of saved me a lot of times, especially in my teens and 20s. Yeah. So it was good. It really made it just affected my life. Also, too, we had a lot of beautiful women in our lives mothering us. Our aunts, our grandmothers, our friends' mothers, and there were people in our lives that grabbed onto the three of us girls that really made a difference in our lives. They built us up. They gave us confidence. They gave us love. They told us that we could be anything and do anything. They told us that my mother would be proud. They kept her honor. They honored her life to us regularly. And it was really a wonderful thing, a good environment that we grew up in. And it kept us sane, I guess is the way to put it. She was with me the day that my children were born in my heart. She was with my sisters and when their children were born. She was with us on our wedding days. And the way she's with us is in our hearts and spirit. My niece just got married in Boston, our girl up there. And my sisters and I, we were all talking about how mommy is here with us. We'd be dancing, a song would come on and go, there she is. And, you know, we have kept her spirit and her essence alive in all of us, through you, through all of our memories.
Do you have conversations with your mother? And if so, what are they?
Yes, I do.
Tell me all about it.
No, because you're going to get this on film and commit me to an institution.
Well, whatever. That's the reason we're doing this show, is to know what goes on in people's minds, so they realize I'm not alone to have an intrusive thought, or I'm not alone to have any type of thought, right? It's normal.
Yeah.
That's the whole part of the mind. Because if it's just to explain regular things, then we're not helping other people, right? There's nothing to be shameful.
You're right. I talk to my mother all the time. When I'm cooking, Mommy, how did you make this arroz con gandules? Okay, you didn't use canned beans. I'm using canned beans. But you went and bought the ones in the bag that were raw, and I like the canned ones, and because I don't have to soak them or boil them for 3 hours or whatever. So I talked to her saying, okay, don't knock me in the head for using canned beans. I mean, silly things like that. Or when music comes on, hey Mom, this was your song, and I'll sing that song to the top of my lungs with the tears running down my eyes, wishing that you were here. So I think of her all the time. Like I said, what are conversations I have with her? When I'm feeling weak or vulnerable, I ask her for strength. When I'm feeling ugly or feeling not very good about myself, it's like, Mom, I need your pep talk to tell me that I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that things are going to be okay.
That's interesting. So you use conversations with your mom as a tool for healing.
I do.
I think that's what I'm getting out of it.
I do.
Yeah.
She's here. I talk to my grandmother like that too, my mother's mother. My father's mother. I talk to a lot of women that were in my life when I was growing up, like that. When I make sauce, I talk to the woman who taught me how to make spaghetti sauce.
I think that's just keeping them alive, right? Their memory alive. That's kind of how the one question I asked in the introduction is, how does a daughter keep her mother's memory alive? So one of them you're telling me is through conversations.
Through conversations.
Are there any other ways you keep her memory alive through the decades?
Through food, through pictures, through family gatherings, through dancing, through music. Her memory is alive everywhere. When you see your children's faces. My husband just recently had a picture made of my mother for me, and when I got it, the first thing I looked at that picture was my mother when she was very young, and I was, oh my gosh, there's my son. I didn't realize how much one of my children looked like my mother.
So the photo you're talking about, is it this photo?
That's the one.
How old is your mother here?
She was 28 years old here, and she was looking at my little sister that was just merely an infant, newly born, and my father snapped a picture of her looking at my little sister.
Wow.
I know.
I can totally see your son right here.
That's where I see him too, in the mouth and all this.
So your husband just gave you this as a gift?
Yes.
How many years later has it been since her passing now?
She died in 1969. And
it's about 56 years?
Yes, it's 56 years
And your
ago.
mother is still in your heart, that enough that your husband knew that this was going to be important to give you.
I know.
Our parents, I guess they're always with us, especially if you have a really good parent, right?
I do.
With good memories.
We do.
Aw.
And my mother and father had been married 22 years.
Can I put this here?
Oh, thank you.
Here?
Sure.
We'll just keep it right here.
Yeah.
She can stay in the conversation with us.
Yeah.
As an older woman now, in her beautiful age of 70, how do you feel right now as a daughter? Do you still feel like a child at moments, or how do you even describe it? I couldn't even ask because I don't know what that feels like.
Well, being an older woman, one of the things that I like about aging is that the drama disappears. You don't have time for drama. You don't really care. I mean, you truly just don't care about anything anymore. That's insignificant. The big stuff still counts. Love, family, respect, honor. Those things still are very, very important. But the little things
You don't sweat the small
I
stuff.
don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
Hey, Sugar Fam! Discover 𝐁𝐞𝐲𝐨𝐧, where timeless cotton craftsmanship struts hand in hand with bold, modern design. Jackets and shorts that don't just hang in your closet, they turn heads. My personal picks? The Serendipity, the Entertainer, and oh yes, the Influencer jacket. Darling, these aren't just clothes, they're entrances waiting to happen. Make yours unforgettable. Explore the vibe at 𝐁𝐞𝐲𝐧.com. We're grateful to collaborate with a circle of amazing partners who make this journey even sweeter. Discover them at www.beyondthesugarcoat.com. Yeah.
One of the things, though, that I do know about my mothering skills, or lack of.
That's a really good one. So, mothering skills.
Yeah, my mothering skills is that because I only had a mother until the age of 14, I do not know what it's like to be an 18-year-old mouthy teenager and the relationship between a mother and her mouthy teenager. So I missed out on all of that drama.
Mm-hmm. Is that good or bad?
Well, I think it's kind of good because I'm mothering my children like my mother mothered me up until the age of 14.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I have arrested development skills in mothering. So I still treat my children very like they're still young and they're my babies, you know, and my children are now 22. The twins are 22. And I'm pretty nuts about them. And I know that they're growing up and they're in college and all of that, but they're boys and they still let me mommy them.
Right. And you're going to take full advantage of it while
every
you can.
bit of it, every bit of advantage. So I think that may have affected me to not have the experience of a mother through, through your life, through your years.
Right. Is there any advice you would give to any young person, especially a woman, right? As she goes through this type of experience, and it doesn't have to be her mother died violently or in a crime, just that the mother passes away so early. Is there any advice you would give on how to go through their grief, get to the healing?
Seek out other women, seek out other mothers, find love, find someone to connect with that you can feel safe with. It could be your father. You could glom onto your dad and get that love from him. Nothing's going to affect you more than the loss of your mother or the loss of your father. Their life is everything and their death is everything. So find the connections with your siblings, your relatives, your friends' mothers, because that love is what keeps you sane. Find your faith, whatever that is, your spirituality. Find comfort in that if you can. That was another thing that saved me at a young age.
Mm-hmm. How has this changed your view on religion?
Oh, this hasn't changed my view on religion. In fact, it kind of pulls me back and solidifies it. But religion right now, today in 2025, to me is a business. It's no longer the church that I knew where you care for one another. I mean, I see Christians not being so Christian-like. I'm seeing that lying and cheating and stealing is okay, and I'm seeing that not helping people is okay. Only help those that you like and not those that you don't. But that's my own personal experience. I'm not making a judgment on anybody or anything. But
so religion, you're telling me, is not something that's impacting your life. It's more of a spirituality.
It is the spirituality.
And we did just have this discussion where I don't remember exactly how I said it, but some of these thoughts just flow out naturally when I have to think about it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But I said, I believe religion is man-made.
I do too.
And that the true religion is spirituality, because we're all connected to each other. And it doesn't matter which way we decide to pray, because it's all to the same thing.
It is. It is.
So the most important spirituality is love, understanding,
Kindness.
Yes. Things like that.
And things like that. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So thank you so much for joining us. This was a really nice conversation. And even though I didn't get to physically meet your mother, it really helps me to know about the family that we were growing up with, and how it explains everybody, right?
Yeah, it does.
And ever since I've known you, you've always had joy. You've always been a joyful person, and I really appreciate that you can teach that to us.
Well, I love you so much. I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
And keep this going, because I think this is helping a lot of people.
I hope so. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Sugarcoat. See you next time.